As someone who spends a significant amount of time working from home, I know how important it is to have the right tools and equipment to create a productive and comfortable work environment. Throughout this video, you'll notice that the products I'm showcasing are of premium quality and have been carefully selected by me based on their durability, functionality, and my personal preference for aesthetics. Now, I've invested in products that not only look great, but also perform exceptionally well, because I firmly believe that in most cases, you definitely get what you pay for. So let's start with the 27-inch Apple Studio display. This beautiful 5K display came out sometime last year, and while it is very similar to the screen quality of my beloved LG 5K Ultrafine, there are two things that I prefer about this display over the LG. First, the overall design and footprint. The screen resolution and color is by far the best I've seen in any monitor in this price point. I decided to go with the standard glass versus the nano textured one, which saved me a significant amount. Plus, I do prefer the vibrancy of the standard glass, especially when I'm editing photos. Second, the built-in speakers are actually quite nice for a monitor. The only other time I was pleased with built-in speakers was from my 2015 iMac. I usually use headphones when I'm working here, so the need for speakers really isn't that high, but it's nice to know that the Studio Display speakers actually sound good. This monitor is my preferred tool when editing photos. I can rely on its color accuracy, and the sharpness of the resolution is something very hard to let go of. Plus, it looks amazing in my setup. The only thing I wish is that they offered it in a bigger size that didn't cost $6,000 and that the built-in webcam performed better. Now, speaking of webcams, the camera I'm using is the Opel C1, and I've actually been waiting to try this out for more than a year now, ever since I heard about it on The Verge. This thing came out in early 2021 and had a lot of hype from big tech celebrities. And by the time I checked it out, I could only sign up for the waitlist. I know that even big creators like MKBHD and Casey Neistat used the Opel C1, so it almost felt like an industry secret, which made me want to try it even more. So naturally, I was very excited to get connected with Opel this year, and they actually sent me the C1 to try out in my home office. Now, before I get into the specs, I just want to take a second and appreciate the industrial design. They used an understated anodized finish on this machined aluminum body that can only truly be appreciated in person. The attention to detail is really great, as even the coiled cord has a very nice aesthetic to it. Oh, and the magnetic cap? Love that click sound. Aside from the design, I like that the C1 is a plug-and-play webcam. It comes with a 4K Sony sensor that lets it capture amazing detail and color. I'm not sure what other cameras use this, but this is the first time I've heard of a Sony sensor in a webcam. I'm currently using the Studio Display's built-in webcam, and I have a very simple 2-light setup for my video calls. I have one light right in front of me, and I have another one right behind me. And the sound that you're hearing right now is also being picked up by the built-in microphones of the Studio Display. So I'm going to switch to the Opel C1 without changing any of the lighting that I have, so that you can see the difference. And this is the quality that you get from the Opel C1. It's much sharper and the colors are definitely better. In this window, I can actually make some adjustments to the image based on my preference and the lighting that I have available in my space. I can even zoom in if I wanted to, or enable face lock, which means that the camera is going to follow me wherever I go. This webcam has an f1.8 6-element glass lens built inside. This means it allows for better low-light performance and a DSLR-like quality to the video. The C1 also has some great features such as face lock and the ability to customize settings to best cater to your particular environment using the app. They have some auto settings, but I prefer spending some time fine-tuning the adjustments, because once you find the right setting for your environment, it looks great. But if you don't want to use the app, you can simply plug the camera in and you're good to go. So after using the C1 for a few weeks, I have noticed that the camera does get hot when you keep it plugged in, even when not in use. Opel is very much aware of this, and I was told that they are working on a solution. So for now, I simply keep it unplugged when I'm not using it. Lastly, I think it's worth mentioning that Opel is a very small team compared to the other tech giants out there, which to me makes it even more impressive that they are able to produce such a beautiful and premium webcam. So, despite some of the software issues, I'm optimistic that the future updates will only improve the experience and quality of this webcam. Oh, and by the way, their waitlist is finally over, so you can get your own Opel C1, which I'll link down below in the description box. Many thanks to Opel for letting me try out the C1. This camera feels right at home in my setup. Since my desk is facing a wall, I needed a good light source for video calls that perform well and isn't an eyesore. The Litra Beam by Logitech managed to address this issue thanks to its elegant design and adjustable light output. This light can be configured in a vertical or horizontal setup. It's powered through a USB port and can serve as a key light for video calls, a desk lamp, and even backlighting. I can adjust the brightness and color temperature using the buttons on the light or through the Logitech G Hub app. It doesn't get hot even after extended periods of use, which is ideal for people who stream. I also like the fact that you can extend the height of this lamp, making for a more versatile setup. So I know there are a ton of monitor lights out in the market, but I find myself really liking this one by Xiaomi. I feel like though priced reasonably well, they have been very good at delivering good quality and aesthetically pleasing products. The monitor light is adjustable and can even be removed completely, useful if you want to mount a light or camera on your monitor. And it just works as intended. It's simple. The dial controls the light intensity and color temperature and has no logos on it, which I really like. I've said in the past that the best upgrade I can recommend to anyone who works from home is to get a high quality, reliable dock for a versatile work from home setup. I've been a huge fan of CalDigit's products for a few years now, and I was very hesitant to pull the trigger on the TS3 Plus back then because it was expensive. But 3 years later, it still works flawlessly. So for my new setup, I knew I had to get the new TS4. The TS4 has a 98-watt charging capability, which lets me charge my MacBook while connected to a total of 18 devices simultaneously through a single cable. This dock can support a single 8K display or two 6K displays at 60 Hz using my Mac. I love the way it looks either on vertical or horizontal orientation. Fun fact, I even mounted my old TS3 Plus underneath my old desk. Aside from the crazy amount of ports, CalDigit's products have been incredibly reliable, and that's really what you want out of a product that costs this much. I highly recommend this. Most of the time I use wireless headphones, but sometimes I prefer to listen to music using wired ones. The Fulla E is a plug-and-play amp that sits on my desk. It's connected to my TS4 via USB port and has a power output of up to 300 milliwatts. Honestly, I'm not an audiophile and I was just looking for an amp that takes up minimal desk space, and I came across the Fulla E because of its design and simplicity. When I'm not using wired headphones or when my neighbor is mowing their lawn, I use the PX8 by Bowers & Wilkins. I'm a big fan of their design and sound signature, but the previous generation that I owned wasn't nearly as comfortable as my Bose QC35s. The PX8 now delivers on the comfort department as well, and the build quality is miles ahead of what Bose or Sony are currently offering. The noise cancellation is decent, not the best, but enough to isolate me from any external noise in my environment. It does have a sound pass-through feature, which also performs decently. The sound is rich and has a good balance of bass and clarity and is rated at around 30 hours of battery life between charges. Plus, it looks really nice. For charging my iPhone, I like using Nomad's Base 1 wireless charger. It can deliver up to 15 watts of charging and is made of premium materials. You can definitely feel it as this thing has a substantial weight to it. This weight also means that it will remain stable and secure on your desk since the magnets are quite strong. It gives off a very satisfying clunk when I place my iPhone on top of it. For a premium wireless charger with minimal design, this one is quite good. So I discovered this product late last year, and it's a hybrid adapter slash SSD enclosure. Think of it as a dock that not only gives you extra ports for connectivity, but also gives you access to more hard drive space. So the SSD is purchased separately, but I think this is a really cool idea compared to buying a single drive. Right now, I have it mounted underneath my desk so that when I dock my MacBook, I also have access to an extra 250 gigs of storage space. And if I'm away, I can take this with me, which doubles as a multi-port dock. So these are the quality products that I use in my home office, and I encourage you to consider them for your own desk setup. But do explore other options, as I know that there are unique needs and preferences for each individual. Remember, creating a space that inspires you and supports your work is an investment in your success and well-being. If you have any questions or suggestions for other products that you think would be a great addition to a desk setup, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this in the future.